Good morning, students. Myself, K. Lakshmi, Assistant Professor in the Department of SNH, Chevrolet Engineering College. Title, Free Electron Theory of Metals. Topic, Classical Free Electron Theory. In the last sessions, we discussed about the quantum mechanics, that is Schrodinger's time-dependent wave equation, Schrodinger's time-independent wave equation, and also particle in a box. Overall, this unit gives a brief explanation about the electron nature, because whatever the properties of any material depends upon the electron nature, almost valence electrons. So that's why we discuss the electron nature here in various concepts. In the last concept, that is particle in a box, that means how the electron move in a bounded region. Here the electron is nothing but matter waves. So when matter waves move in different energy states, then what is the wave function? That is also called eigenfunction. And their expressions also discussed in the topic. Now, in this chapter, the title, Free Electron Theory of Solids. Actually, in solids, the behavior of solids depends upon the valence electrons. So valence electrons are nothing but free electrons. So in this chapter, we discuss about the various concepts, various theories, how the electron nature is going on in metals. Actually, in this chapter, we discuss three theories. Out of three, here only we have discussed two, and the third one is Jones theory. This is discussed in the next topic, that is band theory of solids. So totally these two concepts, that is classical free electron theory and quantum free electron theory. These are the theories explain the nature of electron in the metals. The first one is classical free electron theory, which was developed by Drude and Lorentz in the year 1900. So according to this theory, metals containing free electrons, and these free electrons obey the laws of classical mechanics. So what are the laws that will be briefly discussed in the next? And those free electrons move within the bounded region with a constant potential. That is a very important point. That means, according to classical free electron theory, electrons move with a constant potential field. And next with theory is quantum free electron theory. It was developed by Sommerfeld in 1928. According to this theory, electrons obey the quantum law. Again here, the free electrons having the same, that is constant potential field. After that, Jones theory or band theory, it was developed by Bloch. It is also called Bloch theory in 1928. According to this, the free electrons obey quantum law, but it have periodic potential. So the common point between classical and quantum free electron theory is free electrons are having constant potential. But whereas in block theory, free particle have periodic potential. Meaning of periodicity means variable potential. Okay. Now today's session, we briefly discuss about the classical free electron theory, their assumptions, some definitions. They successfully explain some concept, but still there are some drawbacks there. So simply let us discuss briefly about classical free electron theory. So it was developed by Drude and Lorentz in 1900. So according to this theory, metals having fixed positive charge and negative free electron gas. So what is the meaning of a negative free electron gas? That means here classical free electron theory, free electrons obeying kinetic theory of gases. So they behave like a gas molecule in a closed container. So that's why here negative free electron gas is nothing but, for example, this is a container. Okay. Now it is filled with the gas. Now it is closed. How the particles move in this container are like free electrons in a metal. So that's why these free electrons are also named as free electron gas. Now, what is the postulates of classical free electron theory? In an atom, generally, so this is an atom. It has a nucleus, positive charge. So around the nucleus, we have so many energy levels like a K shell, L, M, and so on. Now these electrons are moved in these shells, in different energy shells. Okay. Now, actually, valency electrons of the atom are free to move about whole volume of the metal like molecules of a perfect gas in a container. Actually, the electrons in the outermost orbit. So here we have positive charge, and these are the energy levels K, L, M, and so on. For example, this is the outermost orbit for this metal atom. Then it has some electrons, like 4 electrons. Then these 4 electrons are nothing but free electrons. Actually, these 4 electrons can move from another atom energy levels. They can easily jump like that. Okay. So this is similar to whatever the molecules in a container, what are the molecules of the gas in a container. So the electrons are behave like that. They can move from one state to another state. That means inside the metal, these electrons are freely moved. That's why here in this topic, a free electron gas. So the meaning of a free electron gas is nothing but the electrons in the metal is moved like a whatever the molecules of the gas in a container. So free electrons move random direction and they collision with either fixed positive ions or other free electrons. But all the collisions are elastic, then there is no loss of energy. So what is the meaning of this one is, I will explain that. For example, let us take a metal, okay? Let us take a metal. This is a metal. It consisting of positive charge. This is another positive charge. Positive charge is nothing but nucleus. So, and it having some energy levels. So we have some energy levels here. If there is an electron is there, here is also an electron. Here is also an electron. So due to random movement of these electrons, they collision with either neighboring electron or they collision with fixed positive ions. So due to this collision, after some time, they lost their energy. But here they assume that these are elastic collisions. But here there is no loss of energy. That is one of the assumption of classical free electron theory. Okay. So whenever the electrons are moved in random direction, they collision to the positive ions or neighboring electrons, even though these collisions, their energy is no loss. So that is the one of the assumption in classical free electron theory. And whatever the free electron movement, they always obeys the kinetic theory of gases. When electron move with some velocity, these velocities, that means different electrons are there, they move with different velocities. So all the electron velocities obey the classical Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution of velocities. So this we discuss in the further concept. Okay. Now, and the last point is, if an electric field is applied to the metal, free electrons are accelerated in the direction opposite to the direction of the applied electric field. For example, this is the metal. Okay. We have electrons and a positive charge is also there. Okay. Now, apply electric field to this material along this direction. Whenever we apply electric field this direction, the free electrons move exactly opposite to the direction of the field. That means actually initially, without applying external electric field, for example, this is the initial position of the metal. Okay. When we apply external electric field in this direction, then all the negative charges are moved opposite to the field direction and all the positive charges move towards the field direction. Okay. That means electrons move opposite to the field direction. This is the initial position. That means without application of external electric field. When we apply electric field, then all the free electrons are moved or accelerated in the opposite direction of the electric field. So whenever these electrons are moved opposite to the electric field, they attain some velocity. So that velocity is nothing but drift velocity. And it is indicated by the symbol Vd. Okay. Once again, I repeat the postulates of classical free electron theory. So here, the classical free electron theory is a concept which explain about the nature of free electrons for the explanation of the properties of a solid. So here, these are the assumptions. So they assumed that the valence electrons, actually valence electrons are nothing but outermost, the electrons are present in the outermost orbit of the atom is called free electrons, or they may be also called as valence electrons. So these valence electrons are move freely, whole volume of the metal. For example, this is the metal. So these are the negative charges and this is the positive charge, that is nucleus. So when these free electrons are moved like a gas molecules in a container. So in a closed container, we have gas molecules. These gas molecules are moved freely throughout the container in a random direction. And the third point is, due to movement of these electrons, they may be collide either neighboring electron or they may be collide the fixed positive ions also. But still there is no loss in energy. And whatever the movements of the electrons are obey the kinetic theory of gases, and the velocities of the electrons are obey the classical Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution velocities. And very important point is, this is the initial stage of the metal. That means electrons, the positive ions are moved randomly, different directions. When we apply electric field to the metal, then all the free electrons are moved or accelerated opposite to the field direction with some velocity. That velocity is called drift velocity. That velocity is called drift velocity. Let us discuss some basic definitions in classical free electron theory. Mean free path. So the average distance traveled by electron between two successive collisions is called mean free path. For example, this is the metal. Okay. So we have electrons and a positive ion charge here also, positive. Okay. So for example, this is the electron move in random direction. First, let us take numbering 1, 2, 3, 4. When this electron colliding the positive ion, automatically again it moves another direction. Again it collision to another negative electron. Again it move another direction. So it may be collision to another charge. So here there are two collisions, 1 and 2. Then the average distance traveled by the electron. So this is the first collision. This is the second collision. So the average distance traveled between two successive collisions is called mean free path. Okay. Actually, the distance traveled by the electron is expressed in terms of lambda, because electron is a matter wave. That means it is more like a waveform. So the path traveled by the electron is expressed in terms of wavelength only. That's why here the mean free path lambda expression is c bar into t. So what is c bar here? Velocity. Root mean square velocity. Why here? The movement of the free electrons obeys the kinetic theory of gases. That means, according to kinetic theory of gases, the velocity of the gas molecules is expressed in terms of root mean square velocity. So here it is the distance. So general expression for the distance is equal to formula velocity into time. Velocity into time. So the distance is expressed in terms of lambda. So why it is expressed in terms of lambda? Electron move in the form of wave. So the wave distance is expressed in terms of wavelength. So distance is equal to formula velocity into time. So according to kinetic theory of gases, this velocity is equal to root mean square velocity. And the expression for the root mean square velocity is square root of 3 kbd by m. Here T is called collision time. Okay, we have two collisions there. So for example, for first collision takes 2 seconds. For the next collision takes some 2 seconds. Then what is the mean collision time? 2 plus 2 by 2. So 2 seconds. Okay. So what is the definition of mean free path? The average distance traveled by electron between two successive collisions is called mean free path. So expression is lambda is equal to c bar t, where t is called collision time and c bar is called root mean square velocity. Here Kb is called Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature, M is the mass of the electron. So Boltzmann constant value is fixed, that is 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. And the next definition is collision time. It can be defined as average time taken by the free electron between two successive collisions. So this is the first collision, this is the second collision. So what is the average time here for two successive collisions is nothing but collision time. Okay. And next definition is drift velocity. So it is a metal, it has electrons, positive ions, like that. So by external electric field is applied this direction. Now all the electrons are moved opposite to the field direction. So this movement, they attain some velocity. That velocity is called drift velocity. That means it is the average velocity required by the free electron of a metal which move opposite to the applied electric field. That is called drift velocity. And the next one is relaxation time. So here, by the application of external electric field, actually this is the position of the electron, and we apply the electric field to this direction. Now the position of the electron is immediately changes, which is opposite to the field direction. So it moves some opposite to the field direction. There is some disturbance is created. After some time, then it reaches to an equilibrium position. That is a rest position. So the time taken by the free electron to reach equilibrium position in the presence of electric field from the distributed position to That means actually this is the original position. When we apply some extra electric field, the position of the electron is disturbed. So after distribution, after some time, it reaches an equilibrium position. So that at what time it will be taken. So that is called relaxation time. And next, current density. It is defined as the current passing through unit area. It is very important. We discuss in further expression for the electrical conductivity on basis classical free electron theory and also quantum free electron theory. So in that concept, we have to use a J quantity. So what is a J? Actually, I is current. I is current. So J is equal to I by A is nothing but current density. I is called current. Current per unit area is called current density. So simply J expression is I by A. So these are the basic definitions. Further, we use these quantities: mean free path, lambda, and collision time, drift velocity, relaxation time, current density. The next concept is expression for the electrical conductivity. So electrical conductivity is represented as a sigma. So electrical conductivity sigma is defined as current density per unit electric field. What is current density? J. So sigma expression is J by E. Now let us take a metal. So we have electrons and positive ions in random direction. Okay. After applying some external electric field, then in metal, electrons are moved opposite to the field direction. So like that. And positive charges are moved towards the field direction. Okay. So this is the starting position. After applying external electric field, this is the final position. So as we already discussed that, by applying external electric field, electrons attain a velocity which is called drift velocity. Then current density J is expressed as NeVd. So here N is called number of electrons. So we have how many number of electrons? For example, 3 electrons are there. Okay. And their charge is E. Actually, charge of electron is constant, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. And next, Vd is the velocity acquired by the electron by the application of external electric field. Then current density J is expressed as NeVd. So this is the one of the important formula we used in further chapters also. The expression for the current density J is equal to NeVd. So here N is number of electrons, E is a charge of electron. So whenever we applying some external electric field, okay, So they have a force is developed. That force is called Lorentz force. Lorentz force. Okay. So this is the force developed between the particles by the application of external electric field. So the Lorentz force is expressed as small e into capital E. So Lorentz force is developed only by the application of external electric field. So after application of electric field, charges are separated. So due to charges separation, there is a force of attraction between positive and negative. So that is a Newton's second law. F is equal to m. Now this is also expression per force. This is also expression per force. Now by comparing equation 3 and 4, ma is equal to small e capital E. Now acceleration is equal to small e capital E by m. So here a acceleration, actually acceleration definition is velocity by time. But here the velocity is drift velocity and time is relaxation time. So acceleration, another formula is Vd by T. So from this formula, we can write Vd as small a into T. Okay. Small a into T. Vd is equal to small a into T. But what is the acceleration formula? Small e, capital E by m into T. This is the expression for the Vd. But we have J is equal to Ne Vd. Ne Vd formula is small e capital E T by m. Therefore, N E into E square capital E T by m. But this is the expression for the J. And from starting, we have an expression sigma is equal to J by E. From this expression, we can write J as a sigma into E. Okay. So we have J is equal to NET square by M. And also J is equal to sigma E. So by comparing equation 8 and 9, Ne T E square by M is equal to sigma E. So E cancel, then we get sigma is equal to expression Ne square by M into T. So this is the expression for the electrical conductivity of the metals. And it depends upon the N value. That means number of electrons, and T is the relaxation time. Okay. Once again, I repeat. Expression for the electrical conductivity, we have the same concept we discuss in quantum free electron theory also. But in exam point of view, they clearly ask expression for the electrical conductivity on the basis of classical free electron theory. Then you write this expression. If in case they ask expression for the electrical conductivity on the basis of quantum free electron theory, we have that concept is also there. In the next class, we discuss it. So you first of all read the question clearly. Expression for the electrical conductivity on the basis of classical free electron theory or on the basis of quantum free electron theory. After that, you can follow whether based on classical or quantum. Okay. And right, next. Once again, I repeat, expression for the electrical conductivity on the basis of classical free electron theory. Actually, conductivity sigma is equal to expression current density per unit area, or J is equal to sigma E. But we have J formula is NeVd. By applying extra electric field, a Lorentz force is developed between the particles. So this Lorentz force is expressed as a F is equal to small e capital E, but we have, according to Newton's second law, F is equal to ma. So these are the expression for force. By comparing equation 3 and 4, we get ma is equal to small e capital E. From this, acceleration is equal to small e capital E by m. But we have acceleration definition. According to acceleration definition, acceleration is equal to velocity by time. But here velocity is drift velocity and the time is relaxation time. So from this expression, Vd is written as a AT. Now, Vd is equal to, here acceleration is, here the acceleration is small e by m into t. So from J is equal to NeVd, J is equal to NeVd, Ne, Vd expression is small e, capital E, T by m. Therefore, N capital E, T E square by m. We have also J is equal to sigma E expression. By comparing these two equations, sigma is equal to Ne square by m into T. So this is the expression for the electrical conductivity on the basis of classical free electron theory. In the next session, we discuss about the further formulas for resistivity and success of classical free electron theory, drawbacks of classical free electron theory. Okay. Today's session is closed. Thank you.